So now I'm going to show you some of that leash work up close. So the length of your leash is critical. It needs to be short, but long enough that it's relaxed. So you want to see a little bit of a dip in it. That indicates that your collar is not engaged. So if I walk around like this, that's too tight. So even though I'm barely pulling on that collar at all, there's a slight bit of tension and she can feel that. You want to make sure that collar is not engaged. So you should be able to see the effect of gravity somewhere on that collar. You should be able to see a little dip. You can see the latch is hanging downward, so I know I'm not pulling on that collar. But we don't want it too long either. So if you're walking around like this, you're giving too much control to the dog. Look, there she goes. So now she's out in front of me. And then we're going to get the zigzagging and the tripping. And this dog loves to walk in front of you. And when I mean in front of you, I don't mean out ahead. I mean, where she likes to be right where you're trying to walk. So, also, if your leash is too long, you won't be able to talk to the dog as easily with your hand motions, your pressure, your pops. It'll be a lot more work. You'll be flailing your arms around everywhere, okay? So if you have the right length leash, where it's really short, but it's relaxed, if she dips her head down to sniff the ground, I'm going to feel the leash tension, and I can just use my wrist or my fingers here to ask her to pull her head back up. Not that I care a ton if she sniffs, but, you know, I don't want to wait until she's a grown dog to ask her to kind of ignore the environment and just walk with me. She can sniff in a little bit. So if she's walking around with her nose to the ground, I'm going to ask her to just pick her head up for a little bit while we're walking. You know, and if I want to say, hey, you're getting too far ahead, I can, again, use a little wrist action like this to ask her to slow down and stay with me. So I'm going to let her get ahead of me on purpose here. I'm going to slow my pace down. Little pop there, see? And she's like, what? What do you want? Then I'm going to turn around. Let's go. Come on. So, not a fully engaged dog. That's okay. I'm not teaching her a precise, perfect heel. She's a puppy. This is just the beginning of getting her engaged. But see, if she keeps forging ahead like that, I'm going to use a little bit firmer of a pop. Not hurting her, guys. She's fine. So, she hardly notices this thing. She would have pulled me down the road like a truck when I first put it on her. Let's go. Let's go. Good. Come on. So I do want to get her noticing when I turn and kind of paying attention a little bit more. Let's go. So I'm tipping her off with some verbal. And if she doesn't respond to that, then the leash pop comes right behind it. Just a little bit of a tug tug. We're moving this way. Okay. Let's go. Good. No leash tug needed there. Let's go. She's just kind of a lazy girl. Pretty common for the breed. She's a Mastiff mix. Good girl. And then I'm going to stop. Little pop because she kept going. Good girl. I'm going to feed the sit. See if we can get her sitting automatically when I stop. But I mostly just wanted you to see that leash work. Let's go. See if I can get a better angle on it. Oh, she's matching my pace. That's great. Good. So I'm walking really slow. I didn't expect her to slow down with me, but she did. So right here, a little far ahead. Little pop. Let's go. Pop. Good girl. So these pops are not super hard pops, guys. I can increase my intensity if I need to, if I feel like I'm nagging her all the time. There's no point in using a tool and still wearing out your arm from nagging. So listen to the dog. Even, you hear that? She's like, this is lame. I want to go do my own thing. And she'll get to it in a little bit. Let's go. Come on. Good. So you got to use your tool and maximize the efficiency. I have mosquitoes on me. But you gotta have that physical layer. Let's go. Good. No leash work needed there. I just used a verbal. And sometimes I'll do leash work without verbal, right? So we're starting with verbal here, followed by little leash pops. And once she's good at that, maybe I'll reverse it. And that'll get her really paying attention. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Oh, no. So it's going to be a firmer pop for biting the leash. She's sassing me hard. Oh, you give me talk back, huh? Let's go. Pay attention. And then once she's doing it totally on her own, she turns to me when I turn. I'll feed. Good. Good girl. So I gave her a second there, and she did it all by herself. No verbal or leash work. And she gave me an auto sit, so I'm going to feed that for sure. And that's it. We're just going to walk. So that's it. Don't go on like a long, straight, boring walk with your dog. Do lots of turns and lots of stops. And work on your leash handling skills. And work on just getting them engaged and paying attention and stopping when you stop and responding to the leash pressure. So you should mostly be walking with a loose leash. You should never be walking like this. And see, the second she feels that tiny bit of pressure, she sits. Good girl.